if typically 70% of the standard American diet is ultra processed food, if we flip that on its head
Hmm.
and we said, hey, let's replace that 70% with 70% replacing these ultra processed foods with is what's really going to give you the energy back that you had back in your earlier days.
There's a huge push right now to make America healthy again. One way we think you can do that is to replace the ultra-processed foods. But with what? Welcome to the Dustermud podcast. My name's Rich.
And I'm Shelly. Here at the Dustermud podcast, we like to talk about food, freedom, and farming. And today we're going to talk about food and your freedom from the ultra-processed foods.
So right now, the standard American diet is made up of anywhere between 60 to 70% of that diet is ultra-processed foods.
Ultra-processed foods are, it's ubiquitous across our entire, you go in the grocery store, you are just bombarded with what is an ultra-processed food? Nearly everything in there that comes in a package.
Right?
Yeah.
And those ultra-processed foods are linked to so many issues. We've got metabolic disease, obesity, diabetes, cancer, heart disease. It is linked. There are so many studies out right now linking ultra-processed foods to many, I can't say all, but many, a lot
of chronic diseases are linked to our ultra-processed food diet.
Yeah. And the reason why they're becoming such an issue, it's so many people are talking about them right now, is because they are finding the links between ultra-processed foods and all of these chronic illnesses.
Yeah, we've been eating ultra-processed foods for about, 30 years now, and it's kind of caught up with us. People our age are now going, oh, I'm so sick, but I thought I was doing everything right that they were telling me to do, but my body is broken. We're in our 50s and our bodies are, a lot of us, our bodies are just, they're riddled with chronic illness, and it's caused by these foods.
Yep. So we're going to contrast the ultra-processed foods today with a ketogenic diet. So hang on.
We have been eating a ketogenic diet or some variant thereof of a low carbohydrate lifestyle for the past 6 years. And the things that we've found are incredible, and the way that our health actually does differ from the average 50-year-old that's our age. And the ketogenic diet has really liberated us from the addiction of the carbohydrates and the addiction of the ultra-processed foods. Ketogenic diet, what does it mean? It means you're kind of going to mostly eat fat.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, but fat's supposed to be bad for us.
No.
We've been lied to. The end. Fat is not bad.
Right.
Our bodies can thrive on fat. And that's whenever you get into a ketogenic diet.
Right. Okay, so let's start this out. What is an ultra-processed food?
Well, it's an industrial product created in a factory using highly processed foodstuffs and all put together with a level of preservatives, chemicals, and natural ingredients, I use air quotes if you're listening, to create a substance that is highly shelf stable, super palatable, like hyper palatable. Nobody can eat just one.
Right.
And created to keep you coming back.
Yeah. We've got some really exciting news we wanted to share with you.
We have officially launched a Patreon to give us the opportunity to connect more with you behind the scenes.
We've been trying to figure out how we can share more of our life without having to battle the YouTube algorithm that would punish us for putting out things that aren't high quality. So we've decided that Patreon is a great way of doing that. We'll be able to share behind the scenes looks at things that are going on around the farm, recipes. We've even got planned in some live Q&As, lots of different things that we will be able to share with you that we just can't quite do with YouTube.
Another thing that we're looking forward to sharing with you our raw life a little more often and giving you the opportunity. We have so many listeners and viewers that are coming on that wish maybe that they could support us in some other way. And this gives you the opportunity to support the farm and be a part of what we're doing here in the movement that we have going on.
So if this is interesting at all to you, click the link in the description below and it'll take you over to our Patreon where you can join the Air to Ground Farms community.
We look forward to meeting you and seeing you guys over there in that area and actually getting to know you a little bit better.
So examples of highly processed foods.
Well, one of my favorites would be cereal.
I knew you were going to say cereal.
I know. I miss it. It's been 6 years and I'm not going to lie because it's addictive.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, cereal, bagels, ultra processed,
Candy bars, frozen pizza, like
anything.
just
Doritos,
yeah.
Takis.
Think that center section of the grocery
Yeah.
store that we talk about a lot to stay out of the jungle.
Oh, here's one for you. Granola bars.
Oh yeah.
Oh, but those are supposed to be good for us.
Well, it's all of these, not all of them. A lot of these things, they get around the badness of the ultra processed food by marketing it as healthy, heart healthy, low fat.
American Diabetes Association recommended.
American Heart Association recommended.
Right.
Like
They do.
all of these labels that they put on the ultra processed foods to try to make them seem healthy,
Right.
but yet they're still ultra processed foods.
And they are not. They are not healthy because they're going to attack your body in ways that you don't know until down the road effects start happening. So we've talked about ultra processed foods. Let's get back to the ketogenic and let's define or contrast the two. So if typically 70% of the standard American diet is ultra processed food, if we flip that on its head and we said, hey, let's replace that 70% with 70% fat calories, now you're ketogenic.
Just like that. One step.
It's crazy, but it's true. Because probably the other 30%, maybe somebody's actually ate a salad, you know.
So you're saying the other 30%
of calories
of the standard American diet, right? So
sure.
like if 70% of the standard American diet is ultra processed foods, that means 30% of the standard American diet isn't.
Right.
It's like real food.
Yeah. Sure.
So it's probably, I don't know, meat and vegetables and dairy and eggs.
Sure.
And right, like real food.
Mm-hmm.
So if like one replacement, if you replaced every calorie that you're currently getting from ultra processed foods with fat, you're now ketogenic.
Right. And let's define the fat. We're not talking about vegetable oil.
No, stay away from the vegetables.
We're going to stay away from that. We're going to add in healthy fats. We're going to add in
tallow, ghee, butter, coconut oil, avocado oil,
olive oil,
avocados themselves. Like
sure. Lard from an actual pig. Yeah. So that's the kind of fat that we're talking about when we say replace their ultra processed foods with fat.
Not the we call them vegetable oils or seed oils. To me, they're ultra processed oils.
They are.
They're an ultra processed food in and of themselves.
Sure.
Because like they have to do so much to that to make it where humans can even eat it.
Right. That's true. They nasty. Y'all don't eat that stuff.
Right?
Well, it's true.
I know.
It is. Okay, but so you mentioned this ultra processed food examples, and I said cereal, that's a breakfast, bagels a breakfast, orange juice. So that would be an example of a standard American diet breakfast. That's pretty typical. So what would a ketogenic diet breakfast look like to contrast that?
A meat, like, I don't know, bacon, sausage, hamburger.
Eat a pork chop.
Like a meat, and maybe some eggs, which are wonderful in and of themselves. They're basically perfect keto.
Maybe an avocado with it on the side.
And some coffee with butter, think bulletproof coffee, where
Right.
you may add a little bit of 0-calorie sweetener if you want it, but mix in some butter or ghee in with your coffee,
Right.
and that's really how you get the fats up.
Right.
One of the things we haven't really covered is what makes that the ketogenic diet, like how is it made up? So you're looking at about 70% of the calories that you eat come from fat,
Mm-hmm.
about 20% come from protein, and about 10% come from healthy carbohydrates, leafy greens, broccoli, cauliflower, those types of things. So it's a 70% fat, 20% protein, 10% carb
Yeah.
diet. And when we transitioned to a ketogenic, we call it a lifestyle because it wasn't a diet in the weight loss fad diet
Yeah.
mentality. It was simply a shift in the way that we eat. And because diet has such a negative connotation, we stopped even calling it that and just say we live a ketogenic lifestyle, we eat keto. Like, we try to remove the word
Right.
diet from it completely because the goal was not weight loss. I think weight loss, I mean, it can be your goal, and a ketogenic lifestyle will get you there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it will.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you could call it keto diet, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, I don't even like to say keto anymore. It's been so overused,
One of the
wrongly
one of
used.
the things I think that has happened with keto is the ultra processed food companies have grabbed a hold of
Yeah.
keto. So now you go to the middle of
They
the
steal all the good
well,
stuff
you
and
go to
ruin
the
it.
middle of the grocery store and you get a keto
Yeah.
cake mix and keto pancake mix and a keto cereal mix, and you're right back into the ultra processed food trap.
What we really, really want to focus on, and I hope that you would be encouraged to focus on too, is real food. Like real food, not something that comes out of a box or a package. Real food are things that had a mama and a daddy and they grew above ground, you know?
A recent podcast with a friend of ours, Bones.
Mm-hmm.
Check that one out if you haven't.
Yep.
But that's how he describes what to eat is mama and a daddy,
Yeah.
and it grew above the ground.
So why do we eat this way? And what are some of the benefits that we have found in eating this way? Well, one thing is you're going to keep your blood sugar down and you're not going to have these glucose spikes throughout the day. So the glucose roller coaster is wreaks havoc on our bodies. And by eating a ketogenic diet, you don't have the big up and the big down. You don't crash at 2 o'clock, needing a snack or something to pick me up to get through the rest of your day. Rather, you have a constant, stable energy source, and it really just keeps you rocking all day long.
Yeah, your body is able to convert, your liver converts the fat into ketones, and your body is able to use those ketones as a fuel source, and it does not cause the insulin spikes and crashes, the glucose spikes and crashes that Shelley talks about. The ketones don't cause your body to have an insulin response. So you don't have these big ups and downs, the woohoo, I just ate, and then the oh,
Yeah.
I'm dead now.
I need a
I
nap.
need a snack.
Yeah. Another thing that we have noticed and really, really love about eating like this is because your body, Rich was talking about your liver making ketones, you get into ketosis and your fuel source becomes ketones and you gain mental clarity. Why? Because your brain really likes ketones. It will thrive on ketones for energy. And especially if you have found yourself to be metabolically eh, dysfunction, your brain might, that brain fog we kind of get, or, old timers or whatever you want to call it when you just can't remember things. Well, maybe it's because of insulin resistance within your brain and the glucose is not getting to the cells. And what that means is your brain doesn't have the energy to think like it used to. But if you switch over to a ketogenic diet, your brain's going to start running on ketones and it's a different kind of fuel source. And it's like, hey,
Wakes right
cool.
back up.
Within days, once you get off of the ultra processed foods and get past the addiction withdrawal, which I'm serious. I mean, it can happen. Once you get past that state, now your brain is like, whoa.
Well, one of the things that Bones mentioned in the podcast we did with him was the paper that he wrote about sugar and how it is more addictive than heroin. Like it is a real thing. So when you say get over the addiction, like that's going to be an issue with coming off of ultra processed foods.
If it's 70% of your diet, you will run into a hitting what will feel like a withdrawal wall.
Yeah.
But there are things that you can do to back off of it, make swaps,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
You don't have to just go cold turkey.
Right.
You could ease your way into this
Sure.
and wind up at a place where 70% of your calories are coming from whole food fats.
Yeah. The problem with that, the only issue that you have with that, it takes you, like you won't be in ketosis until you get there, right? Like
Sure.
you're not keto,
No.
but slowly easing yourself to there will certainly help with any kind of withdrawals that you're having from a sugar addiction.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get that feeling that you get when you're in ketosis, when your body starts burning ketones.
Well, some people might just need to just take it. Some people might need to take it slow. Some people might just be able to say, cold turkey and flip over. But that's a harder path. I mean, each their own. There are multiple ways to do it, but nonetheless, replacing these ultra processed foods with whole fat, real food fats, is what's really going to give you the energy back that you had back in your earlier days.
Yeah. So some myths.
Oh, fat is bad.
Yeah, fat is bad.
Keto is dangerous.
Ultra processed foods are dangerous.
Very. They're filled with preservatives. They're filled with chemicals that you can't pronounce, with things that are, look, our bodies are very complicated. And Rich and I were just talking about this the other day. They're very, very complicated. And we're learning more and more about how our bodies work at the subcellular level and the amount of different functions that happen within the subcellular space is phenomenal.
Yeah.
The different actions and pathways that are happening, like it's really, really phenomenal and almost mind-boggling.
Yeah. And so what you end up with is a body that's designed to run a certain way on certain foods. And now over the past 30, 40, 50, 60 years, we've been injecting all kinds of other substances into that body.
Mm.
And what we're finding now is the body is not maintaining health.
Mm.
We are becoming sicker. We spend more money on healthcare than any other nation, and the United States life expectancy is decreasing.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason this should be happening. We shouldn't be decreasing our life expectancy. It should be increasing significantly.
Yeah, with the amount of medical technology and understanding that we have in this century, we should be living much longer.
But yet, with the introduction of things like ultra-processed foods, our bodies are becoming sicker and sicker.
Yeah.
So our encouragement is, what we're saying to you is keto is bad for you is the lie.
Right.
Ultra-processed foods are good for you is a lie.
Mm-hmm.
We need to turn, if what we're doing right now, if the push is towards all of this heart-healthy, ultra-processed food stuff, if that's leading to the result that we have right now, do something different.
Yeah. Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Hey, another myth is you need carbohydrates for energy.
No, that's actually not true. The two of us can say from personal experience, we went almost a year and a half and ate a carnivore diet and had some amount of dairy. So in that year and a half, we had a very, very limited amount of carbs.
Yeah.
Like
very,
very
very
limited.
limited. And we were very energetic. We felt wonderful. It was a great way of eating for us for that period of time. I would definitely recommend it. I'll do it again someday if I'm in the mood.
Yeah. So what happens in your body actually is there are some cells, very, very few, but there are some cells that do require glucose.
Mhm.
And your body converts protein into glucose for those cells.
It's a pathway called gluconeogenesis, and your liver will take protein, and that subcellular level we were
Yeah.
talking about, those pathways that are going on, your liver does an amazing job, and it says, hey, those cells up there, in whatever part of your body, maybe your heart or your brain, or I'm not a physiologist, but there are some cells, and your liver says, hey, those need some glucose, and they're like, here you go.
Yeah.
And it just makes it for you.
Right.
It's
So
fantastic.
carbohydrates are not required. The minimum carbohydrate intake for a human body is 0.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
It really is.
Right.
Another myth is that it's just too expensive.
Yeah. Fast food is expensive.
Yes, it is. Very. And you can get a lot of calories from one big bottle of, say, olive oil.
Oh, wow.
If you were to go dollar for dollar, pound for pound, how many calories and how much energy can you get from one bottle, even if you bought a really expensive bottle, $20-something bottle of olive oil, and you used that as your primary source? Well, it didn't even touch like having to go through drive-through.
Right. Same thing with, say, an organic coconut oil. You could do the same thing. You can find that at Costco.
Yeah.
And I think it's like $12 or something. I don't know.
You mentioned organic coconut oil. Coconut oil is actually an MCT.
Medium chain triglyceride.
And what that does, when you consume medium chain triglycerides, your liver can quickly use those fats and turn those quickly into ketones.
That's right.
Those are probably one of your best sources if you're really wanting to get into ketosis. Consume medium chain triglycerides in the form of coconut oil, and you will really kick those ketones up.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we've done in the past, and it works really, really well. So it's a big mindset shift, when you're cutting your carbs and you're giving up the sugars and the breads and anything that's white and processed, and you're adding in real food that's going to provide real fuel and give you metabolic health rather than continuing to poison your body with all of the preservatives.
Yeah. So like one way to change it from a negative to a positive is, instead of thinking about cutting the carbs, think about adding real foods.
That's
right?
really
Like,
good.
don't think about, I can't have ultra processed foods anymore. Well, no, I choose to eat real food now.
We'll have people say, "Oh, can you eat that?" Well, I can eat anything I want.
Sure,
Yes,
I can, but I'm not going to.
I've chosen not to. I've decided to add real food in, and it has taken the place of all of that stuff that I have since decided is bad for me.
Yeah. So some simple things to do to get started, like some just real simple things.
Quick fix.
Cut out the sugary drinks.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Yeah, stop with the sugary drinks. Get yourself some fizzy water. It's everywhere. Or just get some water and drink water, and cut the sugar drinks. Cut the grains. That's an easy one too.
It's not easy.
Oh, well, okay. It's a real fix. How about that? You're right. It's not easy. Maybe that's the hard one. But it is you can make significant strides if you do that.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, for sure. Cut sugar.
That's not easy either. None of this is easy because our world is just full of this stuff. And until we really like you were just saying, switch our mindset, start adding real food into our lives until we realize how bad this stuff really is for us, where it's just hard.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. I think I honestly think maybe the easiest way to get started is just buy some actual ingredients and cook food.
Yeah. Get some actual protein. Let's start with protein. Start with protein. Get you a hamburger patty. Add you a pat of butter on top of it. Put some cheddar cheese on top of it. Slice up an avocado, maybe a little piece of bacon, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's your meal.
Right.
You have your protein, you have good fats, and you're going to be full.
One of the difficult things about a ketogenic lifestyle and getting into and maintaining ketosis is getting enough fat.
Mm.
And Shelley just mentioned a pat of butter on a piece of meat. That's a great way to add some fat. Another way is take a leafy vegetable like lettuce and add olive oil. Like that is an easy way to add fat. And one of the ways that we use often is a bowl of leafy greens, and then you just add the olive oil to it to get your fats up.
Another step that you can take is cook at home.
Yeah.
You're in control of what goes into the dish when you put it in there. Even if you go to an upscale, healthier restaurant that you believe is offering, even local type food, you still don't know what they've put in it.
Yeah.
Did they put MSGs in it? Probably because they want you to like it. And are MSGs bad for us? Yes, they are. Now, if you go cook at home, you can control everything. That hamburger patty I was just talking about, what was in there.
Yeah.
Right? All the way up to the cheese on top. You can even read the ingredients of the type of cheese that you want. It's not processed American cheese. It's actual cheddar made by a dairy.
And we understand that's not always possible. There are people who travel. Like I get it. I spent like multiple days out of every week traveling when I was still in the Air Force. So I understand that there are times when you can't, but when you can, do so. Cook at home. And when you can't, my go-to was I would find a steakhouse and I would eat a steak. I would ask them to bring me butter, and I would have some kind of broccoli if they had it with butter. Yeah. And if they didn't, it would be some type of leafy greens.
But the kids want to go out too and say it's somebody's birthday and they love hamburgers. So now we've got to go to Red Robin and everybody's got to get hamburgers. What do? You just don't get the bun. You can make,
and you don't get
the all you can eat French fries. You get a double salad or something like that and you can eat real food in a restaurant. Is it ideal? No, but it's okay. Yeah. And good, better, best. And eating the hamburger at Red Robin without the bun and no French fries and doubling up on your salad, it's better.
Yeah, sure. Another thing is don't be afraid of salt. It is crazy the amount of salt that is in ultra-processed foods. And when you take those out of your life, you really have to think about where you're going to get the salt from. Electrolytes are very, very important. Mm-hmm. And so finding a way to get those electrolytes back into your body is a something that you definitely have to think about. And you'll sometimes hear people talk about the keto flu and what that, like, there's some, we just talked about the addictive nature of sugars and the ultra-processed foods. So there is some of that is a withdrawal from addiction. And there is some of that is, I don't have enough salt. My electrolyte balance is off and the electrolytes are low. So it can really give you that general feel of malaise. I just don't feel good. And, I feel like I have the flu. And a way to combat that is really get salt.
When we were switching over, I found a recipe or something for a keto aid, and I would do water, some amount of salt, maybe like a half teaspoon of salt, a little bit of stevia to make it taste good, and some organic lemon juice. And that basically tastes like Gatorade, like the OG Gatorade. Mm-hmm. And we would drink those in the morning and in the evening to make sure that we got salts for like while we were sleeping and when we woke up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really, really beneficial to us making that switch.
Yeah.
Really important. And this goes for all of us. Find your why. Why would you want to eat this way? Why would you want to add real food to your life? Why do you look to get the ultra processed foods out of your life, out of your pantry, and out of your family's lives? Is it for health? Is it for weight loss? Maybe it's for food freedom because you feel like a slave to the middle of the grocery store. And maybe you don't want to feel like that anymore. I know that was me. I didn't want to be addicted to cereal anymore. I didn't want to be addicted to, I got to have a sandwich with peanut butter and jelly or whatever the thing is. I didn't want to need to have that.
So one of the things that the reason behind what Shelley's talking about is on the ketogenic diet, when you don't have the crashes that are coming from the glucose spikes, you don't have that insatiable, hangry feeling that you get when you're addicted to ultra-processed foods and carbohydrates, where you get that, I have to eat. And you turn into that monster that has to eat, right?
You're just not yourself. Here's a Snicker bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't get that when you're, in ketosis. Your body can fuel itself off of your own fat stores. There's like hundreds of thousands of calories available. And when you're using that as your fuel source, yeah, we eat, but it's not from a feeling of that insatiable, I have to eat, right? It's,
Right.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Like your body is actually able to work the way it is designed to work, where your hormones tell you that you're hungry, not just a crash in blood sugar is telling you that you're hungry.
So the media and people writ large have a very, very special way of kind of ruining a really, really good thing. And the ketogenic diet is not a fad diet. It is not a trend diet. It is a way of eating that the human body really, really, really functions well on. It's been around for centuries. It has been used therapeutically to heal people. It has been nutritionally to change people's entire lives. And it is a way of eating that you can take back charge of your own health.
So a ketogenic type lifestyle is a way to get rid of the ultra processed foods and consume real foods, and your body functions really well in ketosis. Like it is a great, stable, mentally and physically way of existing without all of the spikes and crashes and all of the chronic illnesses that we're dealing with as a result of ultra processed foods.
Yeah, as a nation.
Yeah.
Right. So I got an idea. Pick 3 ultra processed foods that you typically eat in a week and swap those 3 out for 3 real food items. Just 3. If you normally eat cereal, pick eggs. If you normally have a sandwich, have a salad. If you normally have a hamburger, ditch the bun. Make 3 swaps and see if you notice any difference in maybe your craving levels or just your energy. And take steps, one step at a time, to start getting the addictive, highly, highly addictive foods out of your life. Look, it's time to stop letting big food rule our lives.
Yeah.
It's time to take our lives back, eat real food, fuel our bodies, and thrive in the future. Thank you for hanging out with us today. And until next time, bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.